Colorado Springs could lose thousands of high-paying jobs and billions in long-term economic development. As you know, the president just announced that Space Command is going to Alabama. He's taking it out of Colorado Springs, and Space Command is one of the big military outfits responsible for space operations here in Colorado Springs, like satellites, missile warning systems, and space defense strategies. It's kind of a big deal for our community. Defense and aerospace are among the city's biggest employers, which means thousands of jobs and billions of dollars funnel into Colorado Springs because of the bases like Peterson Space Force Base, Schriever Space Force, NORAD, and all the private defense contractors tied to all of them. Now, losing it could mean fewer federal dollars coming in, again, job losses, and a huge economic impact, a huge hit as these opportunities leave Colorado Springs. There could be a major ripple effect that affects more than just our military. For starters, Colorado residents are worried about direct job losses, and we've already lost a ton of jobs from the first initial federal cut. People working at Space Command would either have to move to Alabama or find new jobs if they're contractors. I mean, we've already lost a ton of jobs when Elon and Trump cut federal funding. A lot of people lost their jobs when they imposed a hiring freeze and took away some of the child care on some of the bases. And then once that domino gets knocked, you have indirect job losses. All the businesses that support those Space Command employees, you're talking restaurants, shops, housing services, would see a drop in customers, potentially leading to more job losses in those sectors. We've seen 24% growth in aerospace jobs since 2020, with $31 billion in federal contracts secured. That is a ton of money, and that is a ton of loss. Then there's the reduced federal funding, even less money coming in for the states for defense contracts and those related projects. Losing Space Command could also make it harder to attract new companies or retain existing ones, slowing down future growth. Now, I know that a lot of people watching this might be thinking, that's great. Our city is growing too fast. Crime is going up too much. There's not enough police to police the area. There's homeless everywhere and people everywhere. But is it really that great? There is a mixed bag of feelings and emotions here. The locals don't want our city to grow, but then you have leadership and businesses that need this city to thrive for their businesses to thrive as well. A lot of companies were wanting to move their companies here because of the growth and because of all the tech and defense that we have. So now they might not be wanting to come here. I do want to hear what you guys think in the comments. So post your comments below, maybe healthy conversations about how people are feeling. But here's how Colorado is actually responding to this as a whole. Now, even though people don't like our city being so big and too many people living here, there was a recent poll where 72.4% of respondents disagreed with the move to relocate Space Command to Alabama. And that was on the Gazette websites. You can go there and see what it is today. The Colorado Attorney General has threatened legal action against Trump if he moves Space Command, which obviously he announced it. He's probably going to do it. But our Attorney General has been anticipating this very moment and is now evaluating legal options. The Trump administration should not play political games with our nation's military readiness and military families. Moving Space Command headquarters to Alabama is not only wrong for our national defense, but it's harmful to hundreds of Space Command personnel and their families. These El Paso County residents are our neighbors. They relied on the federal government's decision to keep Space Command headquarters in Colorado Springs. They bought their homes for their families. They've chosen their schools. Their kids have made friends and have contributed to the local economy. I added that kids made friends part because I know that's hard in the military when you have military parents. But he goes on to say that if the Trump administration takes this step, he's prepared to challenge it in court, saying that it's unlawful. And before we go any further, I really just want to say how much I appreciate our military families. You guys have sacrificed so much, and to see our country's leadership be so flippant about this, you have to feel some type of way, but it almost feels a little extreme to me. Moving is hard, being away from family is hard, traveling all the time is hard, and I am definitely often thinking of you guys and praying for you guys. I have clients that have moved their entire families out here, bought homes, spent tons of money moving here for it just to be reversed. So let me just move on real quick. Now, Governor Jared Polis called the move deeply disappointing and warned that it diminishes military readiness while wasting taxpayer money. All right, so the Colorado Springs mayor said that moving would threaten operational continuity since Colorado already has the bulk of the talent and infrastructure in place from Peterson and Schriever. But the biggest question that everyone is asking me is how this is going to affect the housing market. Colorado Springs has seen a lot of growth and the housing market is already competitive. If a ton of people leave, it could obviously affect home values. A sudden influx of homes on the market could potentially depress home values, especially in areas that are popular with military families. And then the rental market also could change. Fewer renters could mean higher vacancy rates for landlords. The schools and the community's impact with military families that are a huge part of the Colorado Springs community. If those people leave, then the enrollment could drop. I know that we've been expanding and growing, and a lot of neighborhoods like Lorson Ranch have these big, large military communities, and they had to build these schools to be able to have enough teachers and classrooms. And then if the enrollment drops, this could impact school funding and resources. Losing a large segment of the population can change the dynamics of local communities, affecting everything from volunteer groups to local events, national security concerns beyond the local impact here. There's a real worry about national security. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier in the video, that a lot of people could be happy because it'll bring home prices down. Maybe that's exactly what we need. I don't know. But moving it could be a disruption and a potential delay in critical space defense capabilities, especially when people are in the middle of projects. Many of the highly skilled personnel might not want to relocate, leading to a loss of valuable experience and talent. Again, wasted taxpayer dollars. Billions have already been invested into the Colorado Springs infrastructure for Space Command. Moving it would mean spending even more money to rebuild elsewhere or tear down what we have here. The fact that Trump cited Colorado's mail-in voting system as the reason for the move has really rubbed people the wrong way as well. It makes people worry about the political games, that important military decisions are being made for political reasons rather than what's best for the country. People are losing their trust. It makes people question whether future decisions will be fair and based on merit rather than a political move. This is just what people are saying. This is not my opinion. So how can we as a community prepare for this, and what should we expect next? Even though Trump just announced this decision to move Space Command to Alabama, it's not going to be an immediate move. These kinds of large-scale military relocations are incredibly complex and they take a long time. And another reason why it would not be a quick process, the legal battle could drag on for months, if not years, in the courts. Until a definitive legal ruling is made, the move could be stalled. And then also the congressional involvement. Congress has a say in military spending and basing decisions. Lawmakers and others that don't agree with this and have concerns could try to block or delay funding for the move to Alabama. For example, Alabama Republican Mike Rogers, who chairs the House Armed Services Committee, has previously blocked funding for a permanent headquarters in Colorado Springs. And this kind of political maneuvering can go both ways and cause significant delays. There are also logistical hurdles. Moving a command like Space Command isn't like moving an office. It involves way more than that. You're talking building new facilities. Huntsville would need a new specialized headquarters building, which could cost another $1 billion and take years to construct. According to Colorado Politics, rebuilding a specialized infrastructure, this includes secure communications, data centers, and other high-tech systems, which could cost an additional $2 to $3 billion. And then you have relocating personnel. Thousands of military and civilian people, along with their families, would need to be moved as well. And this requires careful planning to minimize disruption of their lives and the mission. And then, as the Springs mayor pointed out, Space Command just reached full operational capability in Colorado in 2023, and the military is very concerned about maintaining its ability to respond to threats. So basically, it could take years for all of this to happen, and there's just a lot of people that are willing to fight to keep it here in Colorado Springs. Not to mention, Colorado is already at almost $1 billion shortfall with all of the things that we have been planning and building and revitalizing, revamping, they kind of, I guess, depended on that money to move things forward. And of course, I have a whole video about all of the things that are coming to Colorado Springs. So that is the video that's popping up next on the screen. Make sure that you are subscribed so that you can get the updates on what's going on in Colorado Springs, news, real estate, things to do, everything you need to know about living in Colorado Springs.